today there was a cracker of a speech by the PM. I've made the point tonight, it won't be sexy enough for the tabloids tomorrow, but for people who observe Canberra, the bubble, and how our machine works, I found it very illuminating as to where the Prime Minister wants to take his government and the apparatus of government. Here's a very telling quote from the Prime Minister today.
Only those who put their name on a ballot can really understand the significance of that accountability. As much as you might appreciate the Westminster system, until you put your name on a ballot, that changes everything. So I know that sometimes you may feel frustrated or going, how on earth? My brief was so perfect, as I'm sure they all are. At the end of the day, our ministers, my colleagues, have got to look constituents in the eye, face the public, look them in the eye, and be responsible for those decisions.
Now, it's interesting, that's the sort of speech you often hear PMs give their party rooms, and certainly senior staffers like us will say that internally. He went into the belly of the, Daniel in the lion's den. He went into the senior ranks of the public service and told them exactly what he thought, what we all probably say up here. It was a good speech by the PM.
I think it's right, and he's really recalibrating the whole thing around the public service with new appointments and so on, but the other side to it, it wasn't just really aimed at the public service. It was aimed a little at his colleagues to say, hey, it's not good enough to be captured by your department. You've got to set the direction. You've got to implement. But to your point, there's nothing like facing the people every 3 years to really sort of sort out the wheat from the chaff in terms of what the community are thinking. And while, we all accept there are imperfect results, it's a pretty good system in terms of staying in touch with the community. But you need those departments, instead of running their own agendas, being more mindful of the implementation program of the government of the day.
Stephen, I always used to say to people when they'd say, why does the minister matter and decisions, why can't public servants just get onto it? Well, the minister's obviously the decision maker, and very often you would get a brief that had 3 or 4 right answers, but it goes to the judgment of someone like you to say, well, this is the best right answer, or this is the one that I politically can sell or aligns with my party's values. That's the difference between ministers and public servants. But I think I have to say, over the last 10 or 15 years, our implementation of big policy challenges, pink bats is a good example. We, the public service, have let the Australian public down by the way in which these big issues have been brought to bear on the ground. And that's, I guess, where he's wanting to see change.
No, look, you're dead right. I enjoyed quite a lot of that speech. I thought he made some very valid points. But the best take I took was him saying the ministers have got to set the agenda. That is the ingredient that makes the system work properly.